Hey everyone, this is Louis7, and I am streaming The Lord of the Rings Online, so this evening's stream is actually going to be quite different than my usual ones because I want to discuss the upcoming Burglar changes in LOTRO. So I'll probably, I think, give about a minute or so for people to maybe get in and get settled. I did start this a couple minutes early because I actually had everything working for once, but yeah, we'll go ahead and do that and then get to the actual update. I'll go to the patch notes for U23.5 to start this, but before I actually get to that, I do hope people enjoy this and find the format useful because I do have some like loose plans, I guess, to do similar stuff. I'm just sitting here on my Burglar, by the way. What you're actually seeing here, this is where we'll be testing some of the gameplay and looking at the changes. But yeah, I do hope this will be useful. And then I guess the patch notes are in beta, so all that stuff can change. I did want to mention that. Here are the, if I actually open that, here are the patch notes. We'll be going through those a little bit. And then let's see, what else did I want to talk about here? Yeah, my background with my Burglar. So yeah, this should hopefully give you all some context on my experience with them and where my thoughts come from, but overall I just have not played Burglar all that much, and it might actually be my least played class overall, even though it's not my least favorite class. I just generally don't like classes, or don't play classes with similar fantasy to Burglars, like rogues, thieves, or stealth-based, like fast-attacking classes, I guess. Like, I think in particularly rogues in World of Warcraft, because that's just like the other one that I would play that's closest to this, but yeah, I do enjoy some of the ways they actually do play Burglars in LOTRO, and the idea of the gamble system in particular, I'm not on that line right now, is actually not too appealing to me, but it's pretty fun to actually play. And then, let's see, yeah, they have the bleeds, that was the other thing. I like, actually I like bleeds in LOTRO, which is kind of weird, I think. I don't know, I just don't generally consider when I play a game that I look for bleeds, but I guess over time it's some like mechanic I've grown to enjoy. And then yeah, my overall experience I would say is pretty casual with a Burglar. I haven't really done hardcore raiding, but I have done some like group content and mainly leveling them. This is a really unappealing place to be right now, in the waste and like the slag hills here. Should be able to turn my lantern on, but for some reason the player lantern, like the key for that is Alt F10. It's not actually in the key mapping or any settings like that, but it just doesn't work for me anymore. It used to work perfectly fine, and it's like nighttime now, so it should turn on. Maybe because it's technically evening, it won't right now. But I've had other issues with that, but getting back on topic. Hey Sanium, and it is 1 a.m. in England there. So yeah, it's 8 p.m. where I am. Guess that's like 5 hours earlier. I think, yeah, you're in England, which would be... Seems like I have a surprising amount of viewers, to me at least, in England there, or in Europe in general. So yeah, to get back to that, just generally casual is what I play with my Burglar. I play Red Line the most, I would say, or maybe even more recently Blue Line even more. Don't really play Yellow Line, but I do have a little bit of experience playing it. And of course I have this level 106 Burglar, so I've done some in-game, at least at 105 on her, which was kind of the fun cap to me. Like one of the most recent fun caps, at least. So yeah, hopefully overall that just gives you all some context on where I'll be coming from for my thoughts on the Burglar changes that we will see. And I guess the short version of all that is just I have casual experience, and just because I kind of like classes in general, just the idea of playing a bunch of different ones, so I kind of have that background experience, I guess, and then, yeah, I just want to consider myself, I guess, an expert on Burglars, though. So yeah, moving on, I think we can go ahead and get through to the patch notes and kind of go through that. So let's try and pull that up. Did I do it? Nope. There we go. Yep. Okay. All working. So for this part, I'm just going to go through these changes. I have looked at them a little bit. I actually looked at the alpha patch notes because, yeah, they were actually leaked from Palantir. And I looked at those notes, and then Cordovan posted the exact same alpha notes, so it turned out the leak was true. And yeah, I think I read the changes from them, but I didn't really pay too much attention. I don't know a lot of the stuff from the Burglar, so we'll see a lot of switching back like this, basically. And I can probably, let me try and do this. Can probably do something like this so I can maybe hover over skills while doing that. Yeah, I can still hover over the skills. Let me actually click LOTRO and bring this up where that doesn't want to work. Sometimes it'll hide the toolbar there, but this should work fine. So we have, yeah, that Burglar isn't available. I guess it was for a brief period. I wasn't able to play then, so we won't actually be able to test the actual changes and look at all the new stuff with it. But looks like the basic goal is to increase Burglar's general DPS and fix some general structural issues with skills, improving their survivability and streamlining their play of it. So that all sounds good. They've had like 2 patches that were supposed to increase the Burglar's general DPS, but didn't really. I don't remember anything specific for these last like 3 points though. So we're off to a good start that's what they want to do, because it's what they should want to do in my opinion. And then yeah, diadems, you will hopefully find more groups looking for burglars. So yeah, if you play a burglar, that would definitely be a good thing for you. And then damage on most skills has been increased and shuffled about in an attempt to put more skills in their usable range of DPS. I did read a couple comments here. I don't really read the forums too much, but I think somebody listed out what skills, maybe. I thought somebody listed out what skills were actually increased and not. Okay, yeah, I can't find any more. It was in one of those comments, I think, but I don't know how much relevance that will have, at least me going through this. And then heals have been rebalanced. All melee attacks have had their range increased to a minimum of 3.5. So what is the range right now? 2.5? I guess we can test how close that is. It's about not quite a double increase, but a little bit. Like 1.5 maybe. Yeah, so it's pretty close. It kind of makes sense that Burglar would be pretty short to me though. Just because I would think a burglar uses daggers, and particularly daggers might be like shorter than swords, but that'd probably be too hard to work in and balance. So yeah, that's just pretty close right now. I don't know how much of a difference an extra meter will make to 3.5. And then, let's see, what are we on? Most of the burglar skills had the fast trait removed. Okay, so it looks like that won't make an actual change to the animations. It will just change, like, that it's not called fast anymore. So I think fast should be like a default thing in LOTRO. I don't know if this is a move towards that, like just being a default thing for burglars, but all these skills, they just are labeled as fast, and since they're all labeled as fast, they might as well be not labeled fast and all just like be fast. So I think that's kind of where they're going with that. And then maybe if they did something like that, they could add fast skills on top of it. Oh, so here is actually, they actually did that. I didn't even see this line that Subtle Stab is now fast, so you can test to see which skills are and aren't shortened for their animations. And then can provide feedback on the change. Don't know how much I'll be able to do that since I'm not playing on Burglar. But yeah, Subtle Stab should be fast. Surprise Strike, I do want to use that real quick to show you all. That one had a fast animation right there. It used to be really long, and sometimes I still get the trigger to be like just a really long, slow animation. I'm killing things so slow right now. Yeah, I get that one where you go like over your head with the 2 weapons, and it's a lot slower to actually go about the skill. I assume it's slower execution time overall. Wait, aren't even saying I'm killing so slow. This is a regular 105 mob. Actually have, I totally forgot about this, but I meant to check all my alts and send her some Matham Hunter's armor. My Burglar's gear is really bad, basically, since they've updated some stuff in U23 and that stuff, but let's see. Yeah, that was just to show you all like some of the animations with Surprise Strike. And Bell on Voice Studio, you wanted to know how I get the tooltips to pop up in the bottom right. So that is, it's called static tooltips. Yeah, enable static place tooltips if you do that, and then if you do Control / to do that examination tooltip position there, that'll do that. Okay, And we need to go back to the notes here. So what are we on? Double Edge Strike is now an immediate skill, so you can use it to instantly roll into your crit chain once you land one. I think that's actually a good change. It'll just be faster to use Double Edge Strike and again go about your crit change. Crit chain, not change. You also have Gambler's Advantage. I don't know if they updated that as well. That's like the blue line one that you can use at the same time as Double Edge Strike. I actually have it in the red line here. So I'm curious if they changed that as well and didn't note it, or if it's just a different thing there. I would kind of feel like that would be something they should do, though, is why I mentioned that. Okay, so we have, what are we on? Find Footing is now instant. What's that? So that's this one at the bottom right here. That's the recovery one. That should be instant, should be immediate. It doesn't have an induction, does it? Wait, where did it go? There's Touch and Go. I just had Find Footing. There it is. Yeah, it doesn't have an induction. I guess it's just immediate is what they mean by instant there. Which should be, shouldn't really have much of an animation skill like that. So Provoke has a 15-meter range and 6-second cooldown. That is Provoke. It's just a melee skill right now, so it'll have a 15-meter range and what's the cooldown? I can't read the cooldown. It like just cuts this off enough. I guess I could. I don't know if that would work if I'd like made this windowed, but what was the cooldown on that? Getting distracted. So it has a 5-second cooldown and they increased it to 6 seconds, it looks like. Okay. And then it also provides a 20% crit chance bonus on your next attack, so a lesser aim effect. That sounds nice. And then it provides a stacking self buff that halves the damage of the next attack against you, so a defensive buff. And then in group play, it will help burglars build a buff against those large boss attacks. It's also useful in solo because, let's see, but not nearly as much so as it is impossible to build a stack when you are the main target of attacks. What? That sentence did not make sense when I read it. That's why I had a... I don't even know where my eyes went. Where was I reading? There we go. Okay, sorry. I was just like these paragraphs right together. I lost where I was reading. So it says it's useful in solo, but not nearly as much. It's impossible to build a stack when you are the main target of attacks. Oh, because they keep hitting you. That's why. Okay, that just took me a minute to register what was going on. Yeah, because they keep hitting you, you'll just lose the buff, and you'll still take decreased damage though, so that's a good thing. That's why it's still useful in solo. And then the last thing is it no longer penalizes your party's crit chance against the target. It penalizes crit chance? -2% critical chance. It's supposed to reduce your opponent's crit chance. And it penalizes your group's crit chance by 2%, and that's what it's actually been doing. So apparently this skill has been bugged, I guess. I didn't even know this. That's pretty bad if it reduces your crit chance instead of the mob's crit chance, like your whole party's. I guess it decreases their incoming critical chances the way it works instead of increasing. But anyway, yeah, that's Provoke seems to be pretty largely reworked, and kind of my thoughts on it is pretty good because it's kind of not that great right now, so something to make another skill more useful I think is a good thing. So it has a little longer cooldown. I don't see that as being a problem. We have a lot of short cooldown skills right now. And then I kind of like the crit chance bonus, a lesser aim effect, so you kind of use it and then use maybe something like Surprise Strike or Cunning Attack. Probably Cunning Attack would be my guess at least. Hey Lyric Martian. So Brandeth, you main blue, so you're excited for the gamble changes. We haven't really gotten to those much. Provoke might affect the blue line. I don't think it's a red line only thing. I'm pretty sure you get in other lines. But yeah, if it's intended to do this, it would be every line. And then Mischievous Glee now heals 10% or 2% per pulse. What is Mischievous Glee? I thought it was a yellow line thing. Maybe it's not. I thought it was. That's Trick and Rage. It might be a yellow line thing, like a set bonus. Because I think it is the yellow line heal, as far as I know from the name of it. Yeah, I don't have a skill called that. So I have another trait panel open. You actually get that just for specking in the yellow line. So instead of healing a number, it sounds like it's a percent heal with a 2% over time and a 10% initial. So I think that's a good change to move stuff to that to percent so it scales better. Right now the heal, even my morale's really terrible at level 106 here, but yeah, even with my morale it's really bad. Kind of remember using that quite a bit though in yellow line to actually do a heal, but it's still not that good as I guess the drawback on it. So making that, I would assume 2% per pulse, especially with the 18-second duration. That's about 6 pulses. That'll be a pretty nice heal, about 20% morale overall. So that one sounds good and kind of goes in line with the overall heals rebalancing, I suppose. Yeah, everything so far, I feel like we're already halfway done, but everything so far seems pretty good to me. I haven't seen anything that I like particularly dislike. So self-adulation trait now adds 20% to clever retort healing and plus 5 pulses to mischievous glee. So clever retort, is that the blue line one? I'm pretty sure clever retort's the blue line one. So I don't know what the self-adulation trait is though. Let me look in the red line here again. Oh, I guess I couldn't see if that was clever retort. Or is clever retort? Yeah, I don't have that. I'm pretty sure that's a blue line thing, but I'm not sure what the... To actually affect mischievous glee, it would have to be a yellow line trait, the self-adulation. But anyway, I think the whole point of that is just make it more effective healing, and the plus 5 pulses with 2% per pulse would be 10% healing overall, added in more in the overtime component. So I think that, you know, another good thing to heal. We have double edge strike and flashing blades are AoE. I kind of remember hearing about this, burglars being a lot more DPS, AoE DPS, burst AoE DPS rather, to fully go through that. With these skills up to 3 targets, so not like a huge area of effect, but still give them a little bit of an edge in AoE DPS. So it says to give burglars better DPS in group pulls, especially, yeah, redline, because that's when you have flashing blade and double edge strike. Those skills are both pretty strong, and redline as it is right now, I assume they'll still be strong. So having those AoE, it feels like burglar to me is a single target class, so I could kind of see some criticism there if you want to play to the theme that burglars are a single target and basically can't AoE. But at the same time, it's nice to give them some AoE, a 3-target AoE on 2 of their skills, which are, at least, they aren't super stealthy. They're like regular combat skills as far as I'd consider like a burglar that just like hit opponents. So I think fantasy and theme-wise, it's not really bad that they hit 3 targets. I guess there is just that concern that they are more of a single target class. But adding to the AoE, at least for my experience, would be a good thing, definitely. And help them a lot solo as well, and not just in like AoE, DPS, and group content. Okay, so Coup de Grace. I don't know why that says Coup de Grace. I thought it was called Coup de Grace. Yeah, Coup de Grace. That no longer has a critical magnitude bonus, does it? It says a powerful triple attack that boosts critical damage and marks the target. So it does boost critical damage. Okay, so it no longer has that, but it does better base damage, so I guess that makes up for it. And cooldown has been reduced. It's been halved, 60 seconds to 30 seconds. Can't see the cooldown there. So yeah, that I think decreasing the cooldown on that will help a lot. And we'll make it like super frequent, like a 10-second, but you can use it more once every 30 seconds. And right now, it's my strongest skill. Like if I just open with that from stealth, Coup de Grace, that could be the case. I always read it as Coup de Grace because they have a different, at least in in-game here, but that's possible. So if I actually open with that here, with the aim, y'all can't see my numbers. I have that turned off, probably getting screenshots on this character. I just need to enable floating damage again. But yeah, basically almost one-shot that greenie. But when my damage was actually good on this character, back at level 105, basically before update 23 and outside of Mordor at least, in Mordor it wasn't good, but it would basically be a one-shot. I don't know if that will still be the case. Right now it's obviously not the case with update 23, but if I had like good gear and mainly a better weapon, I could... if I look at this, I could double the DPS. I could probably triple, not quite triple the DPS on the weapon, but almost triple the damage on my skills probably if I actually had my LI maxed out. But yeah, that's just a pretty significant effect. My character isn't strong, and that's one of the big things from it. Let's see, get back to the patch notes. So yeah, I'm curious exactly how strong it will be, but it still sounds good, and having the reduced cooldown I think is good and will make for smoother gameplay. Yeah, it probably is better to have two LIs with different lines. I have, mine is basically a hybrid from when I started building it to have a tiny bit of blue line stuff, but mainly red line stuff. I think I built it because I played a little bit of blue line and I enjoyed it, but red line was more effective and did more damage. So I would mainly play redline, and so I built my LI mainly for redline and kind of sacrificed, I think, I don't know if they've made changes since then. I can actually go to my LI here. But if I like replace legacy, the ones I have available, why don't I have cunning attack bleed damage? That makes no sense. I definitely would have chosen that if I knew that was an option. I also had, I thought I had harmful gamble damage. Critical coup de grace, critical chain skill. I have lucky and gambler strike damage, but I don't know what's going on with my ally. I thought I had different legacies actually, and I definitely would have had cunning attack bleed damage because that's right now a pretty significant source of damage, even if it is bugged the current way it is. So I don't know what's going on there, but apparently my ally is not as good as I thought it was, at least with legacies. I thought whenever I imbue my allies, I make sure I have all the legacies I want, and I thought I had them, but I guess not. It costs like, yeah, 50 mithril coins to replace that. I would not want to do that. I'm not echoing, am I? Okay, for some reason I thought I just heard I was echoing, but I don't think so. So moving on with the patch notes at least. I do need to get a drink of water here. Okay, moving on with the patch notes finally. We have Feint. Yeah, we're on Feint. Now, so that allows you to trigger more stealth effects and bonuses of other skills, though it does not provide true stealth's melee damage bonus. Okay, so I didn't mention this earlier. Actually, I kind of meant to. Feint attack, it's the idea of it's good, but the actual execution of the way the skill works is really horrible to me. So before I get into my thoughts on those changes specifically, I think Feint attack should, on the second paragraph there, it says bonus damage, critical chance, and critical damage from stealth are not activated by the skill. I think it should activate all that stuff because it kind of, you have a lot of that stuff in the red line. It's basically useless outside of hide in plain sight and stealth, which would not be that much of a fight. So I think it should do all that stuff. And if we read the patch notes here, it allows you to trigger more stealth effects and bonuses of other skills. So we have something called Improved Sneak here, which gives you Surprise Strike critical chance 100%. So if Feint Attack gave you one of that bonus, that would be a lot better basically, and I think a lot more thematic to have the 10-second buff of 100% critical chance for Surprise Strike, which has a 10-second cooldown, so it wouldn't be overpowered. It wouldn't be like you're spamming a giant crit every time. So I kind of feel like if that's the case, it's a really good change, and I think even if that's not the case, I think it should give you all the benefits from stealth, even the, although maybe not the 105% melee damage. That's pretty significant. You actually do get, I didn't know you got Surprise Strike critical chance and Cunning attack critical chance. I always use aim to guarantee a crit, but I think Sneak provides that as base now. I don't remember it's specifically doing that. I don't know if that's been a change or if there's somewhere in the traits that you get that. But anyway, if it provided all the non-base sneak buffs, which it sounds like that's might be what it's doing, I think that would be the kind of ideal thing for it to do. So yeah, without providing true stealth melee damage bonus, which would be like that 105%, getting all the other changes and maybe not the surprise strike and cunning attack critical chance and critical skills multiplier, while that stuff would be nice, it might be a little bit overpowered. But all the other bonuses basically is what I consider should be in that. Okay, so Brandith, you play Blue Line. The survivability is amazing. You logged in for 5 minutes and walked away and came back with LOTRO, and you're being attacked by multiple mobs at full health, and combat analysis says the fight is 5 minutes long. So you're the whole time you're logged on basically. Yeah, sometimes if you're you can do that, log in and then go into combat, but to be able to survive 5 minutes, I think the way Blue Line works is whenever you evade, you get a heal from Bob and Weave there. But yeah, that's pretty nice. I don't know if you're referring to like the beta for update 23.5 or the way it is right now, because I think there was a bug or something that was causing Blue Line Burglars to heal too much, actually, in the current update at least. I don't know if I'll get to that, but I thought that was a thing. Maybe not. Okay, so we're on Knives Out. We're kind of running, I guess we had some general changes and now we're running into more specific things that's actually taking a little bit longer to get to. So Knives Out was changed substantially. Actually, I remember reading this one because it's such a weird effect. So in addition, it says it's changed substantially, but it only has basically one new thing it does. So I don't know if there are other changes to it other than this new thing, which I haven't even read. So in addition to its usual effect, it has a small radius force taunt that lasts for the duration of the effect. So what is the effect? 10 seconds. So you have a 10-second force taunt as a burglar, AoE force taunt as a burglar, and then an aggro dump that substantially reduces the burglar's aggro in a similar situation. Aggro with 1G, that's kind of weird. They have it kind of consistently with 1G, I don't know. Some things they have like the, I guess, kind of Tolkien spelling of things. I don't know, I'm trying to think. One of the big ones is connection, which is spelled with an X, like on the login screen. It's actually how it's supposed to be. And they have like neighborhood, they have a U in that, which I want to put in those at least where I'm from. And the US, I think they actually do put that in like England and stuff. But anyway, moving on from that, little side note, that is an interesting effect because they have a survivability boost to the burglar. And I think burglars back in the day, I could be completely wrong on this, but they could do some sort of off-tanking or something like that. I don't think they were ever like a main tank, but they could do something along the lines of being able to do off-tanking or in like small fellowships tank stuff. So it might play to the theme of that, because right now they don't have like any sort of aggro thing that would play along those lines. So yeah, it has that. And then with the survivability boost, I could see them actually having an effect of the force taunt while they're very survivable and using like their cooldowns or whatever to pull some aggro from a tank that might be dying in a fight. And then you just have that aggro dump so you don't like keep taking damage and the tank can get aggro back. So yeah, that one is interesting. It's kind of Knives Out right now is like the AoE DPS thing, which is basically non-existent. It's like a 3-target, barely any damage, 1 minute, 15-second cooldown. So yeah, I think the new effect would be beneficial because right now it's just not great as far as like AoE damage or anything like that goes. So just like repurposing it isn't a bad thing, as long as they do add some sort of maybe minor AoE to make up, which they definitely did. They added some more major AoE with Double-Edged Strike and Flashing Blade, so that is fine as far as that goes. So we have, what are we on? So yeah, Knives Out. That's just interesting overall. I'd have to see how it plays out maybe in a raid setting, or even in an instance setting where it might be most useful. Wouldn't really affect you solo at all. Okay, we have Cunning Strike bleeds were cleaned up. So right now you can stack bleeds. Like all the Cunning Strike bleeds, as far as I know, you can keep stacking them no matter what source they were from. So like if you had the critical one, you could keep applying critical ones as far as I know. But I think even if that isn't the case right now and you can't stack like the same ones, you won't be able to in the future. So they're now a short duration. They're a really long duration right now, 20 seconds. Where are we? Yeah, they are a short duration non-stacking bleed that apply at 4 different magnitudes. So you can have crit, stealth, depending on how hard you crit, and then +1 from stealth. So it sounds like stealth has a base one, like a base bleed damage, and then you have crit, and then devastating, and then just like a regular hit would be the 4th one. It's kind of, I guess they cleaned up because you could maybe have a few different ones from stealth, but I wonder if the stealth, if you like get a devastate from stealth, if it's even stronger than a regular devastate, which I think would be the case. Maybe if you just get, if you hit it from stealth, which would, I guess, be a guaranteed crit. I don't know if it's always a guaranteed crit, but maybe the one from stealth is like always stronger than those, which would make most sense to me at least. So you have the magnitude that would be regular hit, crit, devastate, and then just stealth as its own without any variations in stealth. So I think cleaning up the bleeds on those is a good thing and making more sense how they work. But the interesting thing is the shorter duration and non-stacking. So of course they're changing damage on things, so I don't know, the total damage output is probably boosted on that overall. And the shorter duration, the cooldown on the skill is 5 seconds. I think they also increased the cooldown on that. Where do they have future? Maybe they didn't increase the cooldown. I thought they increased the cooldown on it to like 8 seconds. I thought I read that somewhere. But maybe not. Anyway, if it's a short duration bleed, like as short as the cooldown, you basically use Cunning attack on cooldown and you keep reapplying the bleed so the non-stacking part doesn't become an issue and doesn't really like decrease its damage output. So I think, you know, it's a good thing that they clean up the bleeds, but I'd have to actually play it and see how the shorter duration and, yeah, mainly how the shorter duration works out and how much damage it does, if it's still like your strongest skill basically or not. I I just thought of this and then I was thinking what Brandith mentioned about combat analysis. I really should have installed combat analysis before doing this. Okay, so I'll go ahead and move on from that because I don't really have anything to add. So you can have one gamble of each type on a target simultaneously. So red equals dot, green equals heal, blue equals offensive debuff. So the thing with that is gambles. Wait, this is not what I was thinking. I was thinking tricks. Tricks are really annoying that you can only have one on an enemy. But this is not that. These are gambles. So I'm not sure. I know you can get the gamble. I thought you could stack all the different gambles. I don't know if that wasn't the case. I don't know if there's a way I can check that. As far as I know, like right now you can stack every gamble. I'm not sure how that change would play out, because if you can't stack every gamble, like if you can only have one gamble at a time, it is a significant improvement, but if you can stack every gamble, that's kind of concerning, I guess. But at the same time, it might just be reducing overall power levels because they're making up elsewhere. But that, I guess, will maybe make blue line smoother, is the way I kind of envision that, remembering from trying to remember what I play a blue line in the past would probably make it just smoother overall, is my guess. Okay, so you had, there were red and yellow gambles. Red equals damage, yellow equals debuff. It used to be red or yellow, but they're adding another gamble and allowing multiple gambles a thing. Okay, so that does clarify, and I think that definitely makes this change a good thing then. I just had a little bit concerned since I did not know what was going on with those. So yeah, thanks for that info. Definitely helps. This is like the time when it would actually be helpful to be a more experienced burglar to know what's going on in situations like that. But yeah, to go, we have Gambler, Strike, Hedge Your Bet, and Blind Bet. Oh, these now apply each of these gambles. So yeah, that even more makes the gameplay smoother, because I think you had like things apply random gambles and random types and things like that. I think some might have done specifically damaging, or like a debuff one, which would be yellow, as you say. So now you have a specific skill for each one, and you can have each one at the target at the same time, so it's not like you have to choose Gambler Strike over Hedge Your Bet, or Hedge Your Bet, like the heal one, Hedge Your Bet over the debuff. You could have both of those at the same time, which I think also having the heal and the offensive debuff will help the debuffing portion of the blue line, and probably make them more effective and survivable in those regards. Okay, yeah, that sounds more familiar. I kind of remember, I guess I could check this. I thought there was some stuff that had like just applied at random gamble. So yeah, this is the one that increases the tier, and you say this one applies a damaging, which was Lucky Strike, and then Gambler's Blind Bet rather was the one that would just do a random one. Okay, so every time you have to reroll the gamble instead of tier it up. I think the tiers, I don't know if it's just like one base tier now. I guess it wouldn't be a base tier. I guess, let me see. Yeah, so you still have tiers, and they just roll 1 through 6 value when reapplied, so you can't up the tier. Okay, so that's a bit interesting. I'm kind of just trying to think how that might play out, because I kind of like the idea of upping tiers, but it seems to be more like along the theme of the gamble line to have more of the random chance of applying different tiers when you go ahead and reapply them. And yeah, it makes it more gambly, as you say. That's kind of what I was eventually getting to. So it plays to that theme. I'm just not sure in the gameplay if it would affect too much, or overall, probably with all the changes, it's still going to be stronger than it was. So it's honestly, yeah, a little bit less concern, I guess, because of that. Okay, so also moving on here, we have Blue Line Burglar Stealth Surprise Attack can apply a completely random gamble. So you do have something, another gamble, to apply a random gamble with Surprise Strike and Stealth on the blue line. So I think that's a good thing, just adds a little theme to Stealth for the blue line. Okay, so we have gambles last 30 seconds. Right now it's currently 20 seconds in blue line. Guess it's a good thing. Increased duration is never a bad thing to me, usually. Okay, so yeah, those are interesting gamble changes. I think it would make for smoother gameplay for one, and for two, does make it more gamble themed, I think. Okay, so we have, what are we on? Cash Out eats all gambits on the target, I like the term eat there, granting a high magnitude damage effect, a self-hot, and a stun. So that, I think, makes it more worth using Cash Out. Cash Out right now, I think, is not that strong. When I played on my Burglar, it's like not worth cashing out ever. Can I post? Oh yeah, I actually meant to post a link to the patch notes. So where? That post? There it goes. I'm going to put that in the description real quick. Actually, I meant to. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, moving on, what were we on? Yeah, Cash Out. I'm not in the blue line right now. If I actually spec'd into it, I can do that. Where is Cash Out? Yeah, so Cash Out, here it is. So that is, it says it consumes a damaging gamble for an instant damage, or consumes a debuffing gamble to give the Burglar an evade rating buff. Not a big fan of the evade rating buff, but of course evading does give you the bob and weave healing. Knives Out makes you mitigate all incoming damage? What? I did not read that. Oh, it does, right here. That's, I don't know why they didn't put that with Knives Out. That's a big component of it. We'll have to get back to that one. But yeah, the Cash Out I think is good. Right now, Cash Out's not good, so making that effective and actually, you know, eating all the gambles and then you just reapply the gamble so you don't feel bad taking a high tier one, because you will reapply it anyway and re-gamble. I really think that's a good thing, and getting all those nice benefits from it is definitely a good thing. Blue line's seeming to shape out to a pretty strong solo line, and I already find it fun to actually play, the way it actually plays out. Even if I don't find the gamble theme all that appealing, as I said earlier, it's I think this will make it like still fun to play, but make it even better, and get more out of it overall. I think a lot of people will enjoy the blue line changes, at least from my impressions here. Okay, so let's see. In the future, the goal is for the magnitude of each of these cash out effects to be on the total value of the gambit dice on the target when it cashes out. So they are currently waiting on tech to be able to do that. Okay, so the current cash out effects, which would be in this particular beta Burglar build, which we should not see go live. They should have this done and not have any placeholders as far as that goes. But yeah, I think that's a good thing that they make the total value of the gamble dice based on the actual gambles that are on the target. Wait, what did I say? Anyway, the magnitude of the cash out effects based on the gambles on the target is what I meant to say, at least. So I definitely think that is a good thing. I like the idea of this cash out change again. So the base cooldown is 40 seconds. That's actually a really long time. What is the cooldown right now? 20 seconds? Okay, that is a little bit of sad news. The idea of cash out and just the gameplay of that, using that pretty frequently, sounds fun. So having it 40 seconds is kind of a letdown, especially right now that it's 20 seconds. But overall, the more effectiveness, I guess, is a good thing. And it might just be overpowered if they made it 20 seconds or kept it at 20 seconds. I'm kind of curious though. Coup de grace here, if I'm saying it right now, coup de grace. Yeah, that's what you said it was, coup de grace. I'm so used to calling it coup de grace, that's why I just go over that again. But if they made it 30 seconds like that, to just kind of have those two big cooldown skills of each of the two lines to be the same, I think that would be kind of neat, but could be for balance reasons, and of course I would want a shorter cooldown to use it more frequently. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on, and that the gambles are not per burglar, they are per target, so competing burglars will overwrite and consume other gambles. I don't know if that's the greatest thing. It could make sense based on the debuffs and just all the effects you get from them to have them per burglar, and you'd probably only want like one blue line burglar in a raid because of that, so you're not competing. So yeah, that's just a little bit, I guess, concerning as far as like if you had a group of multiple blue line burglars, they'd be a little bit less effective. What was I thinking with that? I don't think it's necessarily a horrible thing though, and it just like push groups to not have two blue line burglars would be the main effect of that, and probably again for balance reasons, so they're not like super overpowered as far as that goes. So you have 6 out of 6 with damaging gamble. You wait until last second to do cash out to get the max damage from gambles. Yeah, that's basically whenever I played blue line, I just use it at the very end of the fight, because it wasn't really worth it otherwise. Now it sounds like, at least in longer duration fights, it'll be pretty effective. But it sounds like you could use it any time and get all the nice benefits from it, even in the middle of the fight, so you also get like your debuff and heal from it. Or not debuff, but the stun. Okay, so gamble icons revamped. Don't know what the new icons are, so we'll take that as a good thing. Knives Out. So yeah, now we're going to go back to Knives Out. It mitigates all forms of incoming damage. That is creme de la creme. La pissing? What? Jamapel saying Chizindo, French, 3 years worth it, non. I assume that was some sort of French. So creme de la creme it looks like it's creme de la creme, but what I've heard is creme de la creme, I think. But anyway, we have Yeah, the Knives Out mitigating all damage. So it draws aggro for 10 seconds, a 10-second force taunt, and makes you immune to damage, basically. If it mitigates... It doesn't say it mitigates... It says it mitigates all forms of incoming damage. It doesn't say it 100% mitigates, so I wonder if it adds like a mitigation, like a 80% mitigation, but I think the same idea still applies. You use it, you don't take damage, you take aggro off the tank, and then you can do the aggro dump and tank get all the aggro back. So the overall effect is still the same, it just makes it even better as far as mitigating damage. And it says it mitigates all forms of incoming damage. So I am curious if one-shot effects, like mechanics like that, and probably it doesn't, but just their use of all forms there, if it would remove that. But anyway. It mitigates all but 20% melee damage, okay. So it does a full... It mitigates all damage from all forms except melee, but it still mitigates melee by 80%, it sounds like. That's still a strong mitigation, and again, the same effect. You can still get hit by auto attacks and stuff like that, so you're not like completely immune, which I think would be a good thing. It's like a 10-second immunity for a fight, basically. You could ignore mechanics with that. I could definitely see that. Even in the form it is right now, you might be able to bypass some mechanics, which might be a little bit concerning the way they have it, I guess. Okay, so we are moving... We just suddenly have like a significant change here at the end with like basically nothing else. So the Gamble Chance mods changed to Gamble Chance mods. What? Gamble Chance modifiers changed to Gamble Damage modifiers. So anything that modifies Gamble Chance now modifies Gamble Damage. I guess Gamble Chance is just a base thing. I believe, yeah, there's Cruel Odds here, so that will increase Gamble Damage by 10% instead of Gamble Chance, which, good thing, I think, that gambles are just like a base thing, and you don't have a chance to apply a gamble. You just have a chance to apply a better or worse gamble. So you're still gambling as far as that goes, just not gambling to get your gamble. Okay, so Subtle Stab, cooldown reduced 3 to 2.5 seconds. Not the biggest thing, but it makes it an even faster melee skill, I guess. Seems like they're really trying to make that a quick attack against your foe. Gamble Chance is also a legacy, so yeah, it should just make that increased gamble damage then. So there's Cash Out, that's what we were searching earlier. Wow, we're almost an hour into this. I have been talking a while, I really feel like I have been, but I didn't realize it was almost an hour. Okay, so we got through actually all the burglar changes. That's a lot to take in. So we have a general change here. I wasn't really planning on going over too much of this stuff, but since they're here, might as well give a quick look at these other changes that I've paid almost no attention to. I did read this, it was kind of weird. So when you purchase store items on an account with no characters, it won't tell you that it failed. And thank you, Bilgoon B, for subscribing. Actually caught one of those for once. Wait. This is the burglar one. What line was I on? Yeah, no longer tells you that incorrectly failed to deliver character items when you did not include a character item in your purchase. So I guess all the like account type purchases that you can make from the character selection screen before you even have a character won't give you errors. Okay, so Relentless Maul for red line Bjornings does double damage, which halves its duration. I just assumed that was the case before. I don't know if anything actually changed there from what it should have been. I don't know how much of an effect it will have because, again, that's how I thought it worked. So I don't know if it was like stronger or weaker. So the Bjorning blue line version of Relentless Maul is now called Menacing Maul, and its duration no longer half. That's actually a little bit sad because Relentless Maul is a really long duration. I feel like it should be halved as the base version, maybe. Because that kind of applied to blue line and yellow line, at least back in the day. Before the burglar changes. So Vigilant Roar Reflect Damage Legacy now correctly modifies incoming healing, so it just kind of bug fixed with that. No longer removing the incoming healing benefit. Oh, I guess that's what they're working on with the beta. So Bjorning animation changes were not properly applied to male Bjornings. Those have been fixed. Good thing to fix animation. So the big thing with minstrels actually is instruments will no longer get stuck in hands after certain skills played. That is actually something I ran into with my minstrel a lot, and I just like walk around with my instrument out. Kind of holding it weird, not even holding it like I was going to play it. And then they improved, they didn't improve, but improved Hero Strike now properly increases Hero Strike heal component. That sounds like a bug fix. And then fix major ballad description. I don't know what was wrong with that, but yeah, that's what's going on. These are known issues, but they are Burglar, so they don't really affect us and should all be fixed. This one's kind of funny, actually. I just read it. Damaging gamble cash out is healing the target. Definitely not something you want. It's supposed to deal damage. It's supposed to... Where does it say that? It says it somewhere. Yeah, high magnitude damage effect instead is healing the opponent in the known issues. But that should be fixed by the time they get it out. And I think they also, they still have to update some legacy, so we don't have those notes. It's probably something that will be in another Burglar build, or at least make it to the live patch. That they'll have whatever legacy is updated. So that is one thing I definitely know we're missing as far as the beta. This is the one. This is where I saw Cunning attack. There was something else about it. The dot lasts as long as the cooldown. So yeah, the dot is short duration enough that it is as long as the cooldown, at least according to this person. I don't see why that wouldn't be true, but if you trait the +2 bleed pulses, it will add to the effect, and I guess they can stack to a certain degree because of that. But okay, I think that is... I'll keep this window open just in case we go back to it. But I think that is good as far as those patch notes go. And I went individually through my thoughts, so overall, the changes, they all sound good to me. If I were going into this update fresh, I would have liked to have seen more bleeds for the Burglar. It sounds like Blue Line did get maybe a little bit more as far as like their gambles. Their damaging gamble will be a bleed. They have Cunning attack, which is a bleed, and then they have Gambler's Advantage. Yeah, Gambler's Advantage, which is a bleed. I didn't see too much for Yellow Line. I wish Yellow Line was changed a little bit more. The problem with Yellow Line is the tricks and trick removal. It just does not flow well, the gameplay of it, to me. I think, like, the ideal case for me for Yellow Line would be you could have multiple tricks on the enemy and then you could remove tricks. And yeah, that would kind of be the way it plays out, that you wouldn't be so restricted with your trick removal and applying tricks. So we can go kill some stuff while I maybe talk a bit about the Burglar and summarize maybe my thoughts overall on the changes. I definitely think it's a good thing they're changing the Burglar. They had 2 update passes which failed to upgrade damage like they were supposed to. So that should be an exciting thing to see. So I got evade chance here, don't really care about stealth level. Burglar bleed damage, definitely. Bob and weave healing. Actually, don't know if I want the 50% increase from that. I probably do. We'll go back on that. Gamble chance, because gamble should be permanent, which they actually are, or not permanent, but should have a 100% guarantee. Provoke and diversion. I don't care too much about that. When applied from stealth, okay. Yeah, I don't care about that too much. Dot pulses. I guess that would be one thing to increase the Cunning attack dot pulses that we read at the end there. Even the odds. So double-edged strike grant you a random buff when used on a target with a gamble, so that's kind of has a couple prerequisites. Exposed throat, that is the chance to apply a stun. Doesn't say it has anything with gambles. There might be something else that affects it. I'm not sure. Gamble applying skill damage. So this just boosts the damage of skills that apply gambles. I don't know. It doesn't seem like something that's like that super worth getting. Harmful gamble damage, definitely would want that. Mitigation buff when crit chain. Yeah. For some reason I think this is bugged and doesn't actually work. I don't know. Maybe they fixed that because I didn't see anything in the notes about it. Or maybe it was just they actually updated it but didn't mention it. They've done that with the Warden a couple times. They have made changes to the Warden and not mentioned it in the patch notes. Requires all in. All in, it's kind of fun. I kind of like the idea of it. You get a 15-second burst damage. You might even get something that increases. Yeah, you get 30-second burst damage. And then you get a 10-second debuff of slowed attack and slow damage. I'm wondering if the debuff counts in the all-in buff duration here on loaded dice, but yeah, this is a very messy blue line. I honestly don't know. I'd have to play blue line to know if everything here, like high roller, is effective compared to going in other lines. But as far as what I would go here, I don't think there's anything... Yeah, there's nothing super big besides Sundust that I would get in the red line, at least immediately. So I think this is okay enough. Okay, so we have red and blue line set up now. Blue line, I think, is going to play a lot differently. Red line, I think, will play pretty much similarly. It's just going to... You might use Provoke a little bit more, which, like, right now, I don't even use it on this spec, which is the debuff one. And since the debuff it doesn't work, basically. It decreases your crit chance instead of the opponent's crit chance. Actually use, can I always use Gambler Strike? And that train, that seems a lot louder than normal. They're usually loud, but why do I have Gambler Strike? I don't even have... Something's like totally wrong with my blue line here. I don't know why it didn't save my setup. Got Gambler's Advantage. Okay, we want Double Edge Strike, Gambler's Advantage. Here's Gambler Strike. This is the one that applies the damaging one. Oh, I just died while I was paying zero attention to my morale. Yes, that means we had a victory over the first orc. I was paying absolutely zero attention to my health. I'm so used to basically not having to. Okay, we're gonna actually try to live through this. I think we'll get some bob and weave healing and use touch and go. Oh, but I kind of remember that change now. I haven't actually played since they updated touch and go. I think, well, I've played my low level Burglar, but touch and go gives a lot of immediate morale now that I totally forgot about. Okay, so that makes me know I need to actually pay attention to my morale. But I need to get, I don't know why my skill bar isn't the way it's supposed to be, so I think I use Blind Bet. So it sounds like, to me, Provoke. Let's go back to the patch notes. I'll turn it on for you all. What was the... So we have Gambler Strike, Hedge Your Bet, and Blind Bet. Hedge Your Bet? Gambler Strike. Where is Blind Bet? Oh, here's Blind Bet. So, yeah, you still have to do Blind Bet after the chain, it sounds like. I don't think they've made a... Blind Bet will be the offensive debuff, and you'll have to go through your crit chain, which shouldn't be too much of a problem, especially at higher level. So let's go ahead and Cunning attack. Actually, I pulled a couple mobs here, but yeah, the way it plays out, I kind of just... There's just so many skills you can use, it's kind of fun to me, and going through all of them, and over time you'll just get a bunch of effects. But yeah, basically use my gamble skills, at least is the way I play Blue Line. And I mentioned that I play it specifically is because I probably don't play it all that often. Double line, I used the wrong one there. I want to use Riddle. Like, basically get all my overtime effects, all those sort of buffs. So let's use, on the next mob, I can remove my poison somehow. I probably should have played Burglar for like half an hour before doing this. Yeah, I agree. They should make either all gambles just available. Let's go ahead and use all in. Attack super fast and do a lot more damage for a little bit. And then we'll have 10 seconds of being slow. So that was all those mobs here. But yeah, I agree that Hedge Your Bet then, or Blind Bet, they should all basically be available without having to go through the crit chain, I think. It would just be kind of a base thing, and then the crit chain you maybe get some other effects. But yeah, I definitely agree on that one. And then overall, this is definitely a buff. Looking at everything, and from what I've heard, Burglar damages, they're pretty viable as an actual DPS class now in the red line. And then they get all these survival solo benefits from the blue line, and aren't bad in a group in the blue line, so they... It sounds to me like they have two viable specs at least. For both solo and group content. I don't know the yellow line. I assume that would still be used. I personally don't like the yellow line, and I didn't see that many changes for it. So let's use control 3. I don't even have like my burglar's mark thing, reveal weakness on them. That's how bad of a burglar I am. This is, I guess, the slow part when you're not in your crit chain. All specs are viable. Yeah, yellow line is just the one I'm not sure on at all. We'll go ahead and go to red here. So the way you say they work out, yellow for group content, yeah, yellow would be for group content, kind of when you would want a yellow lore master for tougher stuff and get all the debuffs and those sort of effects. I just don't like the way yellow line plays out. I definitely prefer to play a yellow line lore master, even a yellow line minstrel. Might even be, in all the specs of LOTRO, my least favorite spec. And that's like the champion I would like less than the burglar overall, at least at the moment, and even after the changes, probably even more so. Okay, so let's use... So normally on a fight, well, on a smaller mob, I would open with Coup de Grace there. So we'll do... I don't think I need to use aim, actually, to get a guaranteed crit here, so now I can go and do that. On a longer fight, I guess I won't use double-edged strike the way it is. I really feel like that AoE will be helpful. I don't see it being like too much of a problem for AoE DPS, even though you can use these two skills pretty frequently. It'll only be helpful to the burglar. I think I've keep bringing that up because I think I've seen people... Wow, my morale's going low here. Touch and Go has a 5-minute cooldown. That's pretty long. But I think I've seen people say they have like too high AoE DPS, which I just don't see being the case. Unless they like way improve the damage of double-edged strike and flashing blades. And yeah, going back to yours, red being more straight damage burst from stealth and blue for bleeds. I definitely kind of just the way I see it. Blue line seems overall more survivable to me. I assume red line would be the optimal DPS spec. I don't know if the bleed from that is so strong, it's probably worth using, did I say the bleed from that is so strong? I meant it's so weak, it'd probably be worth using double-edged strike instead, unless you have neither available and need to go through your crit a little bit, the crit chain. My burglar's so weak right now, which is definitely effective her gear. It's not just that burglars are in a bad state right now. My particular burglar's in a bad state as far as gear goes. I didn't look through all these pieces, but basically my physical mastery is low and my morale is definitely low. I have a decent piece right there. That has a ton of stats compared to everything else I have and is more in line with what the stats should be on all my gear pieces. So I have a decent pocket IM there, and yeah, those... They have like crit defense and finesse, but overall just a lot better than what I have because of the vitality, and even the agility is better, but the agility doesn't give me too much physical mastery, but it does. Yeah, that's just a little bit, I guess, context on why this character is super weak. But eventually I do plan to switch off to my low-level burglar. It's just I have all this stuff on my high-level burglar, so might as well play her a little bit and test it out. So there I got 2 of the Cunning attack bleeds. And I just kind of die so quick, I guess. I can't really go through everything. Like in... If I use like Cunning attack, I didn't even get Cunning attack to actually hit there. Let's go ahead and stun him. I guess I could have used Addle there. I'm gonna have to use a potion. I should be able to survive 2 mobs without having to use cooldowns there, or potions, or even... I mean, I could have used Riddle. But, like, I think... Wow, this teleported me back way here. It's just telling me to switch back to my low-level Burglar. But in general, with content, I think you should be able to survive 2 mobs without having to pay too much attention. Maybe at 3 mobs you might have to start using stuff, but... I don't know if that's really a criticism of the state of Burglar, or more of a state of high-level LOTRO right now, and just the way scaling works with update 23. Or it could just be my character is outdated from the scaling changes with update 23, and just tiny improvements to the gear. Well, tiny improvements to every single piece of gear, basically, would be enough to basically fix this character. Kind of curious though, I have all these things that I might be able to trade in for gear or something on this character, I don't know. But I won't be too concerned with that today, at least. I just want to kill a couple more mobs, and overall right now, and that's kind of where Coup de Grace, just opening with that from self and using aim, it just does a lot of burst damage. But yeah, just because of this character, how weak she is, it's not too enjoyable to be going through this. Especially like just killing mobs, but right now killing mobs is the point, not really. I don't have any objective. I'm technically supposed to be in Mordor, which I can't even open the map of for some reason. There we go. For some reason it doesn't let you open the Uden map right now. It's like all grayed out for me for some reason. But I can get through to here. But yeah, I'm supposed to be in here. But I'll go there at the end of this and you'll see why I'm not there. I'm also not using everything again. It would definitely help if I used some stuff. And in that fight where I died, you know, if I paid more attention, that was definitely on me overall. We will play the blue line a little bit more. It'd be really nice if I could just like jump in a group to do some content where I would fight mobs for longer but not have to worry about dying or anything, and could really see, I guess even against this mob, I can see like the effect. I have a debuffing gamble, that's actually pretty strong. And then I don't have a damaging gamble right now. I have a debuffing, what's this one? Is that one applying damaging? Nope. I have another debuffing. One of these applies a damaging, I think. Applies a debuffing. High tier damaging gamble, okay. Let's try this one. So that is, yeah, that's a pretty strong, it's really strong on my low level character as well. And then if I use, so yeah, that just switches it to a debuffing gamble, which I don't want. I want a damaging gamble. It's going to be really nice, I think, that you can apply both of those at once on top of a healing gamble. So yeah, actually paying attention to this stuff definitely helps with the upcoming changes. Because right now, if I just like go through my stuff and use blind bet, it's really bad compared to using exposed throat. And blind bet, like, thematically should be the one that I'd want to apply because it's a gamble one. And in the future I will want to. Okay, so let's go ahead and kill another signature here. I guess in blue line we can start with Cunning attack. So yeah, we'll go ahead and use 9 and get my damaging gamble up. And then I think hedge your bet increases the tier right now. My skills are really bad organized the way they actually work out. Oh, and I'm taking a lot of damage. I think the other bear did his cast earlier, so I was able to just like go here and kill him. And I go behind him there. Okay, so I think that is good for the high level burglar. We can move to a low level burglar, I think, and maybe test out some stuff relating more to them. But before I do that, I mentioned I would go to Uden here and show you all how bad my burglar is. We're doing the easy content right now. I hope they didn't change Mordor too much and made it like Because I think they did make some changes to make the scaling more smooth compared to the waste and the zones right before it, basically. But as far as I know, it's still a big jump in difficulty from this side of the mountain to this side. So where are some mobs? There are some mobs everywhere in here. It just takes a little bit to get to. Yeah, these mobs have a bit more morale. Signature has quite a bit more. Probably do a lot more damage as well. I shouldn't have to worry. I really shouldn't have to worry about the next fight I'm going to go into. Oh, I'm having FPS issues here. It's like really bad. Okay, so that fight was okay. I will actually I'll go ahead and riddle the signature here. We'll do some burglary stuff for a minute. Then upgrade that. I want to use 9. I'm actually going to move this because I want to use this. Again, this is going to change. I'm just like learning the gameplay for a few days. And I won't even play Burglar probably before the update again. I might actually for some gameplay, because I'll of course do my patch note review video when the actual Burglar changes. And also so it's in video format. I hear the, like, I don't know, rumbling of the orcs in the background. It sounds like I'm echoing or something. Normally I just don't hear that in the game, so we'll go ahead and stun him, and I think we need to go all in. And ideally we'd keep him stunned here. Oh, is he still immune? That does stun, right? Oh, that doesn't stun. That was cash out. I thought that was my stun. Well, that was a mistake. Okay, that actually went okay, to be honest. I've had a lot more experience in Mortor before that. I'd have trouble on some of my characters here just soloing a signature. Yeah, Orc Meat is definitely back on the menu, especially the way this is working again. We'll try another signature, see if that was a fluke maybe. But yeah, with the upcoming Burglar changes, if I can actually get some gear on this character, Mordor might not be too bad. Let's go. Ooh, all 6. I think that gives a large. Oh no, it doesn't give a large evade rating buff. I thought it did. Maybe it used to. So we'll get some bleeds going, and I think we can go all in now. I'm not even using Surprise Strike. I want to see the animation on that. Okay, that time it went through the quicker animation. I mentioned that earlier when we were talking about the animations, that sometimes it's a slow one. Sometimes it's a quick one. Okay, so Mordor is definitely not as bad as I thought it was. Again, I used to die on those signatures. And I just pulled like 2 green mobs with him, so that's nice to see, I suppose, and would be better with the Burglar changes. I did go here on my Hunter recently and still had issues though. My Hunter is better geared. She was in a higher level area, but yeah, Mordor did get nerfed. And I played since the nerf in Mordor, and I thought it was still pretty bad, and it could just be my Burglar is actually stronger than I think. I have my LI again, is not good. But yeah, my gear is also, could get a lot better. Just, what's it called? Matham Hunter's armor would be a big help to this character. Okay, yeah, I think I will switch now to Anor for a little bit. And play that Burglar some. You've logged into World Anor. And if y'all are wondering, I assume you can hear that noise. It is my cat scratching my couch for a very long time. They're supposed to scratch that cat tree, not the couch, but anyway, who are we logging in? My Burglar? I think my Burglar, I'm ready to take her to North Downs. I was thinking I could do, oh, I was going to do that on my Guardian, never mind. I was thinking I could do North Downs on my Guardian and not my Burglar, but yeah, I was kind of thinking about that on my Burglar. But I'll have some places I can go, probably can go to North Downs on her to get some gameplay. Actually, I did want to search for a Great Barrow group, so I'll take a couple minutes, see if there is one happening to be forming. But yeah, that is my plan, to get some lower level gameplay and check that out. So you are Gambit's Burglar, which would be Branda there in chat. Daggers. You have another fitting name for your character. Gambit's for a Warden, and Daggers for a Burglar. Oh no, you're anonymous. I like being nosy with people's gear. Okay, so we have, we'll head to North Downs, and then again I'll try to probably form a Great Barrow group so we can get some group content going. And talk about that maybe a little bit. Daggers, daggers, daggers to you. Yeah, it's like Gambit Master, I think. Something like that. A lot of Gambits, and then I believe Gambit Master somewhere. Did I really just discover this somehow? Oh, I guess I've always gone to the South Pre-1. I haven't been many other places. I've basically been stuck in that crafting hall crafting and running Great Barrow on this character. Could do Fornost water as well, but the one I want to do full Fornost. Where are we going? Oh, Trestle Bridge. I can't. I might actually do the Swift Travel to Estelden. I think that would be okay. And it's just a good thing to have, and basically it's why I buy Mithril coins, so I can Swift Travel characters to Estelden. And other places. It's kind of nice, I guess, for the first time or first couple times on characters going through all the places and unlocking the stable masters. Even with just solo leveling, it's not a bad thing, but if you just want to go somewhere on alts, it is a little bit, I guess, more annoying. Okay, so we need to... I don't see a group forming, so we will try to get one here. I guess Great Barrow is a pretty simple thing. I could do Fornost water again, but I'd rather just try Great Barrow. Here we go. Hopefully we'll find some people. I have seen a few groups forming around this level just in general, so I don't expect it to be a big issue like I might level 40 something content at this point, which has definitely, like in my experience. Yeah. What? Oh, did I do kin on accident? Nope. I assume you see that it's not letting me invite you, but I don't know why. I'll go ahead and just repeat that. I wonder, there might be an option to auto unaccept. Auto decline fellowship invites, not auto unaccept. Did they change this? For some reason this North Downs landscape does not look the same to me. Don't know why. Okay, but anyway, we can search again. We'll do yeah, level 24 is good. Unless he means he is level 20. No, he's 24. Oh, let's kill a spider. So on this character, blue line is a lot more simple at this point. We have hedge your bet, and the only thing that can apply a gamble is actually a lucky strike, which applies the damaging gamble. As you might have noticed on my other character, I could just use it. I didn't have to go through the crit chain. But I think you get that as a set bonus. Was kind of my point of that. I was kind of, I don't know if there's anybody on in the kin that would want to join. There are a couple of people I might ask them. We'll go ahead and search. Hey, Jason Matthews, and regarding the Provoke bug, it's been bugged since trait trees were introduced at 95 to reduce your group's crit chance. Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing, and yeah, it's just really bad for them to have had it bugged that long. I was probably using Provoke sometimes in group content because I thought I was increasing or decreasing like the enemy's crit chance or something, whatever it's supposed to do. I thought it was like, I had no reason to think it wasn't working, basically. Well, we got the first 3 real quick. But yeah, blue line, as far as like my low level burglar here, is a lot stronger than red line. I heard like a bell, I guess, when I killed the orc. I thought it was somebody. Like a message. Oh no, I got stunned. So I'm curious at this level. Gambler's advantage. Yeah, over time mode, I think eventually out damage. Double-edged strike. Okay, let's try red line. So ideally, I think red line would do more damage than blue line, even at this low level. Or at basically any level, it'd ideally be the damage spec. Probably, yeah, crit chance. So I got knives out and critical magnitude. Okay. I'll probably have to redo all this stuff anyway. So feint attack here is activated by double-edged strike, but that won't be the case in the future. Well, I have all these. Isn't cure poison supposed to be instant? Do you get like an upgraded version of that maybe? So my interrupt, I actually want to keep that down here if possible. Reveal weakness. And knives out. Track treasure, we'll move that way over there. Okay, that looks good enough. Do I not have aim? I guess I don't. What's my crit chance? Probably on this character, like, relatively low. You just don't have as much stuff to use on red line here, so you're spent more time waiting, especially if you don't get your crit, and even if you get your crit, you just don't have as much stuff as the blue line. That's kind of, I guess, the big reason why blue line would be stronger. Aim is 11 points. Minimum. Oh, that is aim. It's a different icon than aim, so I don't know it's actually, like right there. Okay, so we have, I can probably search again here. But yeah, my crit chance is 13.2%, at least in the red line here. And the blue line, I guess it would be 8.2. Yeah, we'll kill a couple more things with the red line, give it more thorough testing here. If I actually get feint attack, I guess that wouldn't be too bad. It's just, you just don't have as much stuff in blue line. You get a lot of extra effects than red line at this point. It's just stronger overall. Even when I'm going through my crits here, it's not like super fast. Feint attack does help. Which, you know, double-edged strike. I don't even need those skills. I can move them over where they should be. Okay, we can go back to blue line and... Oh, I did not mean to throw that, but that'll work. We'll test here. I think we, honestly, with Great Burrow, Okay. Oops. Oh. I see. Messaging these people, I haven't been saying anything. I'm just killing things. I've paid zero attention to what I'm doing. I'm just like pressing numbers and walking around like reading the chat box. I just like realized I haven't been paying attention to anything going on the screen. So let's see, we got Fellowship, that one, and then we have Algebra, that one. There we go. But yeah, we probably don't even need a take for Great Barrow. It's pretty easy. What level should we do? 28 is the highest the Bjornen can go, and 28 is the lowest that the Burglar would ideally go. And they're all level 28, so it's like right there. But yeah, I've done this without a tank before. It was actually, I was playing my Guardian, and I assumed the other Guardian was tanking. And I think the other Guardian might have assumed I was tanking, and we just, like, all ran DPS. Wait, what was that piece of gear? I don't know why I inspected this person, I guess because they were mentioned when we were talking in chat. Okay, those are, like, loot box pieces. Well, I think we're good to go. I'll play blue line, I suppose. Might be competing with the other Burglar for gambles. But I don't mind too much with that. I still get more output solo without any of my gambles, probably. And if I do get a gamble from Lucky Strike, it does a lot of damage. Not that much, at least. I probably won't have a chance to do much. We have a lot going on here. Oh, the Bjorning's in tank line. That's pretty nice to see. A lot of low-level Bjornings that seem like neglect it. Gamble competing isn't a thing yet. Okay. I didn't know if that was the case right now. I know it will be the case in the future. I kind of assumed that was just the case it would be, since they have a lot of things like that that don't stack between classes. Which some of it definitely makes sense. And I can see, like, balance-wise why they wouldn't want all the Burglars applying all their gambles. You main blue, but you're red right now. Yeah, you might be. I'm kind of curious at level 32 how much more effective red is, because it's just really bad where I am right now. I do a lot less damage than blue line. And that's pretty much all I care about. Red line doesn't even have other benefits towards it, like the blue line at least has some stuff like bob and weave, where it's even more effective outside of damage, while also doing more damage for me at least. But I feel like the red line, maybe by the time you get aim and a couple of your other things would start out DPSing the blue line. I'm not sure. Yeah, if your crit chance is 18.9, that might be a bit helpful as well, because you'll be going through your crit chain a bit more. I got my damage and gamble there, but I have no idea. I think that's actually the sound this makes. It's like a little bell. It sounds like the auctioneer noise in WoW when you click them. Oh, I think he was trying to probably burgle that guy. I wonder if you can actually burgle these whites. I feel like they'd have some good loot on them. Seems like some of them are getting some of those bodies, burning them. Ineffective against the target. I don't know, to me it looks like they'd have pockets with some nice treasures and loots for us. Actually did a burglar thing there in Feast Riddle. It's kind of like my lore master. I never do lore master stuff, so I feel very nice when I actually do something effective like that. Yeah, I just tried as well and we can't burgle them. I guess to talk more group content, I don't have all that much stuff I can test out at this point. But as far as group content, I really feel like Redline should be the top DPS spec, and that might be the case. It sounds like they just made a lot of changes to Blue Line that make it more effective than Redline, but they also just all the damage pass they're doing. Ideally, I think the Redline would be a little bit more effective DPS. Why is just total damage output, even sustained compared to Blue Line? Well, Blue Line has other boosts to it that it would be better than Redline. So, for example, Hunter, you have the Red Line, which out DPS is the Blue Line, but the Blue Line like is mobile, and you get some benefits. You get some extra heals even and stuff like that. So I kind of think ideally, wow, we're taking a lot of damage there. I could have used touch and go. That would have been helpful. I guess I can stay here just in case they do have a res. Minstrel. We're pretty squishy here, it seems like, with this. Oh, there we go, the Minstrel died. But I was thinking the Minstrel might want to get her res D done. What was I going on about? Yeah, so the Blue Line, to me, ideally would be more of a solo, and still good damage, definitely not bad damage, and also has the extra benefits to it, so it's not like you wouldn't want them in group content compared to Red Line. And even the L Line, you could ideally have, it wouldn't be an issue to have like 3 Burglars, 1 of each spec. And they should be, it should be the case with all the classes. You should be able to play 1 of that class of each spec, and even maybe some of the specs multiple of them. Like in an ideal LOTRO world, I guess. Can you giggle in this game? Oh, you actually can. Yeah, my definitely real burglar res. Maybe if I was a high elf. What armor do I have? I have like this, yeah, I have like, I guess crafting some of the 22 and 25 set, whatever pieces were better, I suppose. I don't have any of the other pieces to actually check. Probably only made the ones with physical mastery or something. Yeah, my mastery though is 62.5, so not all that great either. I have some mastery pieces though. I guess the main one is actually my earring, even over my crafted ones, which now have mastery. So we are good to go. I can actually start a fellowship maneuver on him. I go green there because that heal only has a 12-second hot. I thought it was like a 30-second hot you got from it. But so we could get the hot for the part here, and we didn't really, because he like phases out where we can't damage him. We didn't really need the damage. But we also didn't need the heal at that point. Probably focus on going ahead and getting some of these whites down. I don't know what's going on with this warden, but I feel like she's not using stuff like Surety of Death. I just don't hear any warden screaming. I've heard like 2 screams now this whole fight. But that would help a lot with our damage, I know. Let's try and... I'll go ahead and addle that one since it's on the healer. Or not. Did I say addle? I think that's actually called riddle. Is addle the... Yeah, that's the interrupt. Okay, that guy just wants to stay on. Guess I'll just stand in this effect. The effect itself is not too damaging until it starts doing too much damage, so it's not like a huge problem to stand in it for a minute. I'll go ahead and use touch and go, why not? Might not get a chance to use it later if I don't use it now. But yeah, I'm a bit concerned with this warden. She could use Surety of Death a lot more. I know you at least have that gambit at this point. You get it like level 16. You got a pocket item. but I prefer to get an extra 25% XP on this character. Actually, I wonder how many... I feel like I want to save like on all my characters' destiny points for a higher level, but I don't know. I'll just end up with a lot of destiny points, as what would happen. Oh no. Do I have hide in plain sight? I might not. I didn't know that using diversion. I guess he caught me trying to use that. I might have found our issue. Daggers here is trying to kill the enemies with flowers. It would definitely be better off if he used some weapons. Flowers probably heal them even. I can try Redline for a bit. I keep criticizing it because it's bad, but I haven't actually done too much testing to like prove that or anything. It's been more anecdotal. If I actually had combat analysis, I could have the numbers, but in a group content setting, you might be able to notice the mobs dying slightly slower, but like an individual's output won't be the biggest difference. Thorns are deadlier than knives, it's proven. Yeah, maybe if your flowers do have thorns. I didn't pick up on the thorns there. Thorns can be annoying, so I could definitely see that being the case. Okay, so yeah, we're going here. I don't know why I was just like turning around there. Yeah, I'm not really feeling this red line. And again, to actually have actual numbers, you can see all the numbers coming up and just how infrequently I'm using skills basically, but not good. And the damaging gamble is just so strong once you actually get that. Stronger than anything in the red line. So even if you do lose like a little bit of damage on your other things, you make up for it by having another skill to use, hedging your bet. And then also on top of that, you have like an extra bleed from Gambler's Advantage and Lucky Strike, applying a very strong bleed at this point. Like to actually see the bleed, we actually both applied that bleed, and it's doing like 212 damage over time, which is comparable to Cunning attack if we actually get a crit on that, which is already a strong bleed. That's going to be not every 2 seconds, not every 2 seconds, but it's just strong at this point basically. The problem with Cunning attack, I assume the update would fix this, is it actually doesn't scale with weapon damage right now. I think we're kind of peeled off from everybody else. I'm just kind of going about this instance and hold these guys. I might need this other burglar to pull aggro. I'm gonna have to go green here. I would like to not go green, but that actually healed me pretty nicely, and then we got the bonus, so I'm like, got about 1,000 heal overall. There we go. I don't mind killing ads, I just kind of went about the regular way, wasn't paying attention to what my group was doing. Oh, it looks like they're getting some quest items, so yeah, that's definitely like fine again, I definitely don't mind. Well, in the future, you could have Knives Out for your whole aggro thing. I guess Knives Out, I was thinking that was on every spec, but it's a redline only thing actually. Still, all the stuff I said applies to it just for redline, unless they are making it available with all specs, which I think would be a good thing if they did. Let's do our damaging game up to this guy. So that it ticks every 3 seconds. That's not too bad. Again, Cunning attack slightly stronger if you get the crit or one of those effects on it. Oh, there we go. She's Surety of Death. I feel like doing group content like this is a lot more fun. At least it is to me, definitely. But I feel like just going through that with kind of the topic of this video, it's a little bit better. I don't know where everybody is, where like the tanks are. There's one of them. I think the Bjorning's also in tank spec. Let's do it. I should have started at the very beginning of the fight, but we can go yellow. Or we'll go red, yellow, green, yellow. That'll work as well. Yeah, I should have waited for this guy. Fuck that. Damaging gamble on him. There we go, we got, I guess the other burglar probably applied one. We got one red that's hot and then one green that's hot. Alright, that was pretty fun. I still enjoy playing the burglar, it's just they could be more effective. Like I said, playing blue line is actually fun the way it is. It's just not that great, I would say. It's not really bad. Just if I compare it to other classes, I guess it's relatively not great. What did they say? Thought I saw somebody say something there. Maybe not. I got a nice gear piece. I have to wait till level 28 to use it though. Okay, so we'll give them a minute to get out and probably, yeah, we'll stick to level 28 while the Bjorning's a bit low level. Who is that guy? Trample Tusk? I really don't remember that mob. I don't know, maybe I do. He's a pretty giant Urrock though. Oh no, I'm just so used to like going through the thing and usually I have the crit chain open by then. There we go. Could probably use double edge strike more. I keep using my bleed because that's kind of... somebody's still on. Yeah, somebody's still in there. They're probably getting quest items, which that's okay. At least where I am, I don't mind winning. I can do stuff here. Okay, sounds like they are out, and yep. So I think level 28 is good again. So yellow line would kind of be the ideal spec in a way to play in a group content setting like this. At this level, it wouldn't do all that much. Blue line's the only spec that seems to really get nice stuff actually at low level. But the benefits of that is you get a lot of debuffs and buffs and a little bit of healing and things like that, I guess. Stuff you need more in a raid setting would probably actually be less beneficial, even though it's effective, would be less beneficial in a setting like this. Let's go ahead and just go about the rainbow. At least people are using those, I guess. You must get improved cure poison or something, because that on my higher level burglar I know is instant. It's actually immediate. You could probably go all red on him if everybody actually went red. There I am, I'm the only one. I went yellow and it still applies a decent dot at this point doing the solo of that. So you're up to 14.5% crit and 19.5% in red with your new ring, and I am 7.8% here in blue, which would be 12.8 in red. Okay. was going to try to do yellow. I think you have those where it's like 2 pairs you could do, 2 of one color, then 2 of the next. I don't know if it applies to like 6 if you did a larger one like that. Red's good here. That was a longer stun. Some of them go off like really quick. I'm going and kill this archer here. Maybe we'll kill him. We're going really slow. I'm not really getting anything to trigger, which is where most of the stuff in the blue line would be. Same with the red. I could just be sitting here waiting in red line. Looks like we're split up pretty badly right now. Yeah, they depend on how long the stun is. It just seemed like the one particular that was going on there was longer than usual. Like the burglar ones are 5 seconds, and that's kind of what I'm used to. I think there are some 3-second ones maybe, and then maybe 8-second even. I'm not familiar with the exact durations from different things, but I think about 5 seconds is what I'm usually used to. There we go, finally getting a crit. Now that the mobs are dead. But I spent like a long time with no crits there, it seemed like. Okay, it's everybody up, it looks like. Guess I'll help Burglar here. I will riddle the one on the left. Oh, he has a dot on that one. Nice quick heal on myself. There we go. Got the damaging gimel. That's all that matters there. Now we have another fellowship maneuver back here. We're just split up as a group a lot. Might as well, I guess, do 30 damage with that. Throw skill was actually a little bit more useful at lower levels. Use it in rotation when he didn't have that much. It's kind of fun to do that, just like randomly throw a knife in the middle of fighting. Looks like nobody is following us. Somebody's applying like scrolls, I guess. I guess these scrolls we just got. Oh, I didn't get the buffs from them at least, maybe something else. Yeah, kind of playing my low-level Burglar here, it really makes me wish Lucky Strike and Blind Bet were just by default not locked behind the crit chain, and were just usable. I know Lucky Strike, that's the one you get from the trait, and you get this in every one. You get Dealings Done, and the third to last set bonus, I guess, in every trait you get something like that, in every trait tree. You do Throw Dagger because it looks funny, it's one more skill in your rotation that has a chance to crit. Yeah, opening your crit chain. Yeah, if you don't have anything available, there's no reason to really not use it. And that's why I'm particularly, I guess we're not killing them. And particularly at low levels, kind of, when it's more useful because you'll have less stuff to use. It's like a weak skill, especially at this point. But if you don't have anything to use, again, might as well use it. Contact dealer. At campsites, call a peddler to whom you and others may sell items. I did not know this skill existed on all my other burglars, which would be basically one other burglar. I did not know this existed. I'm not even paying attention to the instance that much. I'm just like, I'm going about killing things. think we're working on the barrel lights, but we're still killing the whites, so it doesn't really matter too much. Could also run maybe a solo skirmish on this character or something later. We still have Samrog to go through though. That would probably put us about 2 hours. I was kind of loosely planning on 2 hours would be like good for the Burglar discussion, but we went through those patch notes for a while and then going through the gameplay, trying to talk about Burglar topics as I see them, but that one's like kind of wore me out a bit, going through that stuff. I wonder when we get Provoke no level, because that'll be a pretty big change in the future, it sounds like. So we're working on all 4 right now. So yeah, probably good to go ahead and... Oh, I used the wrong gamble there. They were all like focused on these two and then like suddenly switched over. We can find him in his watery throne, but first we have to go through this room. Fellowship maneuvers are a pretty big theme to Burglars, and right now they're like okay at low levels, but they have too many drawbacks, especially in tougher content, where it is more beneficial to just go about combat than actually use one. Oh, we can go red there. For some reason, more times than most, your throw dagger crits. That's interesting. And congrats on leveling there. I think we both leveled, and the Bjorning leveled. Can definitely run the next one 29 instead. Getting some loot. I'm pretty excited for the changes now, just playing my Burglar. I want to see how that works out on this low level one here, level 26 one. I'd probably do, trying to think the specific content I do. Fornost would be a good one. And then we have... trying to think, there's Lone Lands. Could go to the Garthic Arwen area maybe. Probably actually stay in North Downs. North Downs pretty good. I haven't been there too much lately, just for like some landscape, testing that stuff out. Could do some of the Stelden quests maybe on the east side. Those ones could be fun. Head down to Dolden Inn as well. That'd be a good way to test like survivability, that type of stuff. These fights aren't that great for classes with dots. Well, actually they can be good for classes with dots. You just can't kill the ads as fast, but you can like stack the dots on the boss, so like when he comes up, won't be taking dot damage. But at the same time, you stack your dots while he's actually attackable. For some reason, I'm tanking this white right here. Oh, I need to go blue here. And here as well. Or not. My power is all good now anyway. We might as well, yeah. I was gonna say we might as well go green there because he's going to be immune anyway, and we're having issues with these ads. I got Burglar's Antidote. Oh, I did get that upgraded. Yeah, the cure one, that wasn't good. I think this should just be the default one. I shouldn't even like bother with that change there. Oh, I just had a weird lag spike. Okay then. We got that. Got our skull key. Got an offhand sword at best that has really low DPS. Crafted one, I could probably make a level 28 crafted one even better. Let's see. Yep, I have recipes for the level 28 stuff, and yes, it is better. Make a deflection dagger. I'm gonna look at what the sword is like, or some other weapon I could use. Got that axe. Basically the same stuff. Here's a sword. That one's tactics. Deflection, so that's might, parry rating, crit rating. Yeah, probably a dagger actually would be okay with that. That dagger. Well, that's kind of my goal, to make that, I guess, on this character. But yeah, we can do a Sambrog. That'll be good. I really hope Surprise Strike actually becomes a bit stronger. They improved it by shortening the animation. Sometimes I still like randomly get the old animation to trigger. I'm not sure why. I wonder if it's a positional thing. I don't know why it would, if they'd actually have it where it triggers. Yeah. That might be the case. It triggers a lot longer and slower animation, I think, when you're behind the enemy, is what it looks like. I don't know why I just thought of that, but it kind of makes sense, the animation that you go through like that if you're behind them. Yeah, looks like that's the way it works. But then it's like a longer animation, so it makes it so much less worth using compared to just using other stuff like Subtle Stab, which is quicker. Oh, there it went. The quicker animation. It's still not a slower one. Sometimes out of combat too. I don't know. I thought I had it figured out at least. Because it's on the slower one, I think, when I've been facing mobs as well. There we go. But yeah, with the animation fixes, hopefully they would fix any issue that's there with that. Wow. Oh, a lot of Kin, man. Just dismiss that. Looks like we're good to start this. Usually that white pops up right here. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes groups will stay up at the top of the steps, and sometimes they won't. Looks like we are not. I don't mind either way, I don't really have a preference. That's a long stun. 15 seconds, okay, that's really long. I was like thinking it was long about 8 seconds in or so. Now I'm up. We can help with this fight again. Oh, I actually have all this discovered. This map looks, I don't know. There's something weird about it. I don't know why that's like freaking me out so much, but for some reason the map is like freaking me out. I don't know if it used to be like different or what's going on with that. Fellowship maneuver. Oh, I didn't talk about, I said fellowship maneuvers were bad, basically, which is true. If you can get the coordination and you don't actually run into the drawbacks, they can be good. And you get like all those nice benefits from them. I know my Kin leader likes to run through them, and you know, we get some nice things going from them, like summon Oathbreakers and stuff, and get some various benefits. But they have the drawback of you're susceptible to damage the whole time you have a fellowship maneuver going. Some bosses can't even be FM. And then you have, I think most bosses are, there might be some specific ones actually, but Yeah, you're susceptible to damage and everything while doing that. Your tanks probably don't want to be doing that. They start taking a lot more damage because they can't do any BPE. I'm just like playing with one hand right now, being very lazy. But yeah, they have like all that going on. Well, those are not great rings. That's kind of the situation I am in my Lore Master. He has some really bad specific pieces of gear. Especially compared to my Warden. My Warden has a lot of nice stuff, I think. Usually somebody will have a quest here. It's good to go ahead and clear it anyway, I guess. I don't this time. Usually I seem to end up with that quest. Okay, we can get... But yeah, especially at the level where like a regular hit would do nowhere near 407 for me. It's worth taking a second to use it. And ideally you'd use your actual, if you're just like doing all red there or something, use it as late as possible so you're not stuck there just waiting, basically an induction. But when you're doing like a specific order, doing it as quick as you can in general would be the best. Okay, so we are headed here. Now we have a tough fight. I could actually see this fight being a bit of an issue for our group. Okay. Oh, maybe. Okay, so... Where'd my mouse go? Wow, we actually had instant. We just like randomly did. We did some sort of thing. Okay, so we have Battle Caller. I don't think we pulled. You can pull an extra one from the back. We might have actually. Oh, here are the other ones. We can pull these guys. Probably somebody actually went to get the archer. I was going to go up with that. Oh, the minstrel died. That's not good. Okay, let's FM this guy. Probably could have saved that actually. Wow, he's dying now anyway. Running right on him. Now I can go back and help the group. The minstrel just released for some reason. You know, I just said release. That is a WoW term. I don't know, it might, some people might say it in LOTRO just because it kind of came from WoW, but in WoW, if anybody's unfamiliar, when you die, you kind of release spirit, and then you either have to run back to your body or talk to the spirit healer to res you. And when you talk to the spirit healer to res you, like in the res circle, basically, you get big debuff. So yeah, that's kind of why I said that, because that's where it comes from, but in LOTRO it would be retreat. Could have been an accident. You can hit like escape or pretty easily accidentally hit it. Okay, let's have a bunch of crawlers. There's probably some sort of crawler soup meal in this game. They have a lot of gross stuff like that. Got a lot of cunning attacks on him. That's one thing I might miss. It's kind of fun to stack a bunch of cunning attacks. It's like a stacking bleeds on other classes, I guess. It's just kind of fun. But now we won't be able to do that. We can only have one stack of each type, which will be 4 types. Simplified, but I am going to just, again, miss having all those cunning attack icons. Because I think I would have even, on my higher level one, I could get up to 5 at a time. I don't know if you could get 6 ever. Maybe you could. I don't know why I remember 5 specifically either. I think it was something like whenever I was playing Blue Line, I'd like really try to get my cutting attack stacks up. Because it was the strongest skill at the point. Still seems like one of the strongest for Red on Blue Line. Blue Line has some strong gambles, of course. So a Burglar raid would be horrible. Burglar raids used to be good. Is there a video of the Burglar raid Filical? I know it exists. Like, that people did that. I think it is a YouTube video though. Yeah, all Burglar raid 9 years ago. Philical. Looks like it's 240p, so I can't really see anything, but yeah, it's... No, there's one captain. That's cheating. That's just like the first video that popped up. I feel like one captain is cheating if you're gonna be like an all Burglar raid. It's like if you have an all Warden raid or something and decide to actually take a healer like a minstrel. You could call it a mostly Burglar raid. Not sure why we stopped there, but gave me a minute to actually look that up. I don't know, somebody was talking about turtle or something. Or, what'd you say? Oh yeah, you said Burglar raid would be horrible. Yeah, the captain was probably for the buffs. But I still have to stand by my point that it would be a true Burglar raid, at least without the captain. I have aggro on this guy, so I'm actually going to peel him off and try to go about this. I should, he's going to be immune to fellowship maneuvers for a second. He can actually be hit by one now, but I'm going to hit this, oh, so he comes back to me now. So this is the example in an FM is slightly weaker because you're susceptible there, and I got stunned actually by that guy. So we'll get another cunning attack on this town, and not open my crit chain. I think I'm also used to playing Guardian where you have the skill that actually opens their chain, which is a parry chain on Guardians. And there might be another one that actually is all Burglar. That's just kind of the first video that popped up there. Nine Burglars. This one's 6 years ago. All Burglar. It looks like they were level 75, so that's not cheating in the same way. I will accept that that was an all Burglar raid. And I think at that point in the game you didn't, like, old content wasn't extremely easy, kind of like how it would be now just with the crazy scaling they have at high levels, which they actually did tone down in update 23. So doing old content was like, you could just blast through it kind of like WoW because of the scaling. You had double stats at the start at Mordor, which was a huge barrier. You know what, I'll break that and go. We actually did Ent's Heart earlier. I actually did need green, I didn't even realize my morale was getting low. Well, hopefully the minstrel will take a second and get me up. I guess my morale used to be higher because I had the crafted gear was more defensive, naturally. And then they added the much better stats to it, but at the cost of a little bit of morale. One thing I kind of like, just the idea of playing a single target class like this that does have a little bit of dot focus and with the gambles and stuff, is you can tab target. It can just be a fun extra thing to do if you don't have AoE. And with the limited AoE they have, which wouldn't be... They just all exploded on me before I could run out of there. The limited AoE they have, it doesn't really affect stuff like dots and red line. Of course, blue line they still don't. Double-edged strike would actually be AoE, but they basically didn't take that away, I guess, from Burglars, which is a good thing, I think. I assume the minstrel would like to get her Resid progress. I would, at least. What am I looking for? Oh, I was going to actually open my deeds and look at those. Use skills which apply bleeds. Well, that one's easy. Achieve a critical hit with any skill unlocked by a critical hit. So critical hitting with your critical hit. Cunning attack. That one's easy. Use diversion skill successfully 500 times. That one's annoying. Special stealth attacks, okay. Use sneak skill, okay. Addle. Some power potions. I actually have a few of these extra ones as well. I think it's somebody going to pull it. Okay. I think some people might just not know that you have to actually run up a little bit to trigger it, and I think that's kind of probably the case with this group at least. Okay, fellowship maneuver, all yellow. Or no fellowship maneuver, that's okay too, I guess. Oh no, I applied a debuffing ammo. That's not good. I need to replace that with the damaging one. I guess that could be a fringe use for cash out the way it is now. Is you apply like a debuffing gamble, then cash out, then immediately apply a damaging one like the one you would want. Or apply a damaging gamble, then cash out, then quickly reapply it if you have that situation come up. So I got gloves with physical mastery. I got some nicer loot from this stuff. As far as like physical mastery and stats you actually want go. If I can actually hit my exclamation there. Alright, let's see. I am level 26 now. I actually have a whole other bracelet. I didn't have one equipped there. I guess I got these at level 25 this ring. I could have been using this over a 1 might ring the whole time. So that brings my crit chance up to 10.1%, a little bit better. I guess with Burglar compared to other classes, it'd be a little bit more than 2% crit per physical mastery, or it's the other way around. A little bit. You would have to have a bit more per physical mastery per critical rating to go for the mastery over crit. So the way it is right now, you would want twice as much, like in general cases, you'd want twice as much mastery as crit rating to actually want to equip the mastery piece. Right, that's the way it works. I have to think for a minute. Let me look at that. So every 10th. I had this, I like know it, but I guess it's been so late. I'm having trouble thinking how that works. But yeah, for every critical rating percent, I guess being in a fellowship actually has its advantage. Solo, I killed him super fast with that. But with Burglar, basically, it might be different. You might actually have to have more physical mastery to outweigh the critical rating, because you get these benefits in unlocking the crit chain, which is really important. And you can't basically do your damage that raw physical mastery would pop. But yeah, I am probably going to start heading out and start wrapping this up here. I had fun playing my Burglar today. My low level one, the Arkenstone one, was a bit meh. A little surprised how well she handled Mordor though, the tiny bit we did of that. Should only get better over time. So I'll definitely test my high level Burglar out with the changes. I think they're still doing quests inside the census group. But yeah, when the actual patch notes come out, like the official ones, the non-beta ones, I'll do my regular review video, which will be less open to this. I kind of thought this would give a different perspective and really allow interaction. We didn't have too many people talking Burglar here. Probably if I scheduled it like a lot earlier, even a couple days in advance, would have been better for that. But I kind of like this format, the more open discussion of going through this stuff, at least with beta and not like official patch notes, where I can just do the regular video for my regular, you know, the regular patch notes, the official live ones. I keep saying official, but the live patch ones rather than beta, and the changes that actually make it through. So yeah, we'll see if there are any additional changes with the Burglar when it comes to that, and I'll do a, I guess, simpler video on that. Kind of like I did Bjorning and Minstrel back in the day when those came about. And then whatever other stuff is in the patch I would cover separately. But yeah, that's what's going on with this, I guess. So this did... So I've kind of had this idea to do some videos about the state of classes in LOTRO specifically. But yeah, have like a video or stream discussing just things about the classes, state of them, where they are in the game, what they're doing, what they need changed. So I think doing maybe something like this with that could be good. And having the discussion and interaction component rather than just doing it as like a video topic might be good. But kind of my idea with that would preferably to have like a guest or somebody to actually talk to and not just be the only one rambling on here. So yeah, that's something that could come with my channel in the future, basically. I got a level 28 sword, but of course they have such low DPS, I'd definitely rather one I could craft at higher level. Kinda glad I got this character test out on anyway. But yeah, Burglar low level, at least blue line's fun to play, red line is not that fun to play at this point, maybe a bit higher level. I hope they make red line more fun to play at low levels. I didn't see much with the changes that would make them, so that's kind of a concern I have. It's just low level red line feels like it needs some sort of fixing. And I think the big thing they could do for both lines is just basically have this set bonus as the default. Not necessarily all the other stuff, but have Gambler Strike basically the default, yeah. And not have Lucky Strike. And just, you know, have it be Gambler Strike there. And the same goes with the other spec, like Feign Attack for the red line should just be usable without having to use Double Edge Strike as a base thing. And then maybe get some other things outside of that. As far as like the set bonus goes, to still give some sort of something there. So that could be something, again, I'd have to actually test the changes at low level, which we will do, to see how it would work with that, but that's just kind of my thoughts before the update. Just kind of a general concern I still have with the Burglar, kind of reviewing some of the gameplay of this character that I've been playing and talking about. I still have like these anniversary gift boxes I could open. Crafting Trophy Trader. I don't know if I've ever seen any of these items. Not sure where you get them from. I don't know if there are any resource instances or anything like that, but that's interesting, I guess. But yeah, I guess that is kind of tried to summarize my thoughts a little bit on the Burglar and just some concerns I have going forward that didn't seem to be addressed in the patch. The other thing I guess would be the yellow line. Yellow line to me is not fun to play and very unfluid, and could have a lot smoother gameplay and be more enjoyable in general. And yeah, Dan's Adventures, there will be some changes to the Burglar in update 23.5. Right now they're still in beta, but some exciting stuff. I'm still concerned for the yellow line and low level experience in red line in particular, even like medium level probably. But yeah, that's overall I guess some of my thoughts and concerns going forward. That is coming out, it's in beta, so probably at least a week out, maybe. Actually this Thursday might be the time they do that, because they usually release patches on Thursday and that's still a few days out. You burnt your hand at school today, you mean work? That's not good. But yeah, that will be it for this stream, I guess, kind of wrapping this up again. And that gives my thoughts on when the patch would be. It just seems like Thursday would be the time for the update because they do updates on Thursday. And That would be my guess, at least. If not this Thursday, maybe the next Thursday, but that's kind of far out. I don't expect too much with the beta because it's just a class change, and they didn't really do betas for the other classes, which I thought was kind of odd that they ended up doing that with the Burglar. But yeah, I hope you all did enjoy this stream and kind of the different format. If anybody does have any feedback, I would appreciate it. And yeah, I might do these for other classes, especially if they have other changes, and particularly if they'd be in beta like this, where we can do some discussion and give more feedback oriented because the changes aren't live yet. But if you did enjoy, please consider liking and subscribing for more, and thanks for watching and joining, everyone.